Yo, what is going on, y'all? This is Dave, aka Daffy of the No Compromise Media, and I have ran into an intelligent young black man right here. I've ran into him, man. We conversated, we spoke, and I think you guys will be interested in hearing what he has to say, his frame of mind, and where his mind is at with our people today. So, question. First and foremost, what's your name, brother? Where you from?
My name is Joshua, and I'm from Georgia, born and raised.
Georgia, South Georgia, North Georgia?
South Georgia.
That's what's up. Yeah, so so we was talking about being brainwashed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think, first and foremost, do you think black people are brainwashed and here in America today?
Not only do I think black people is brainwashed, I think everybody's being brainwashed, and it all starts with the school system. As a kid, we are raised to believe what one person has to say, and we are taught to believe that that's only one right answer. And since there's only one right answer, we don't really know the real truth. And we learn about the history of white people, and the whites are teaching us what's right and wrong, so we don't really know what to really do and how to phrase things. How do I put it? I don't know. I can't really get too in depth of it. But just know that we are being brainwashed, and it all starts with the school system. And I don't know how we can get out of it.
Why is it that, and shout out to my boy Warren G at No I Don't Know TV. Why is it that you believe that it all starts with the school system?
The reason I say that is because as a kid, we don't really know anything. We're born into this world not knowing anything about anything. And in order for us to learn the real knowledge, in order for people to consider us smart, we have to go through this system called school. And we go through elementary school, we go through middle school, we go through high school, and all that teaches us things. But we don't really know if what they're teaching us is right or wrong. We just know that we have to learn that stuff to get past school. And the school system just messes everything up. Without the school system, we might be labeled as dumb, but we don't really know that because everybody's forced to go to school. And if we don't go, we'll be either in prison or we'll be considered dumb, and we wouldn't have as many advantages as people who graduated. So that's why I feel like it has to be something else to get around that.
What do you think will solve the problem as far as just with the school, with the education that we receive in school? What do you think will solve the problem for black people here educationally as to lead us towards liberation?
I feel like not limiting what we're learning. Most of the stuff we learn is limited or is filtered. We don't really know the real truth. So we can't really tell the stuff that's filtered because everything we learn is right. We consider it to be correct. We don't really know what's really correct until we find stuff. We have to go out to our outside sources, such as like reading books, and stuff is not really online. Things are hidden from us. So a way we can get around that is by telling us the full truth. And if we just can find it without having to look for it ourselves and they teach in the school systems, we'll become better people and we'll be more knowledgeable to learn things outside of the real world.
Now I know you spoke about just having different groups of friends.
Yeah.
And just some of the things that they say, and why is it that other groups, other racial groups, look at black people as being inferior or uneducated?
Because they see us as violent. It all starts with the violence. When people start to look at us different, they start to look down upon us, and they start to think that they're better than us. So like, if we can change that, then that would really change the perspective. But I really feel like it's because they fear us, because we don't really know what we're really capable of doing. So it's the fear that starts it. And I have spoke to my friends about stuff like being brainwashed and stuff, but they don't really believe me because when you brainwash, it's hard to accept the fact that you are brainwashed unless you really know the full truth. So I feel like I'm not sure.
What do you think? What do you think Black Power looks like in your view? If you had a chance to liberate black people, what would you do and how would you do it?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I have to do more research to come up with that. But I don't know too much about that, the Black history. I don't know too much about my history, which is kind of sad. So I can't get too in depth with that.
Why is it that you don't know too much about your history? Does that have a lot to do with school?
I feel so. It has to do a lot with school and what I'm learning, because I don't really know. We don't really have. Okay, so we have a Black History Month. During Black History Month, what do we really learn about Black history? Like, I don't remember a time where our school set aside what we learned in class to learn about and focus on what happened to our culture. There's not really times where we can talk about what we did and what we went through. And they kind of limit that from us. So I feel like that's the reason why I don't know too much about my own history.
Wow, so let me ask you this. What is it like, or what does it mean to be a Black man here in America? For you, what does it mean?
I feel like we just born with a disadvantage, because the things that we've been taken from us, the way people just look at us, this affects everything about us. And you don't know too many Black, rich billionaires. There's not too many of them. So I feel like the fact that they look down upon us can really affect us. But I don't know. I can't really get too in depth with that, because I don't really know my history, and I don't really know about the outside world, because I just got out of the school system. The only thing I know is about everything we learned in school, so I can't get too much about the outside world. But I'm about to go into it. Just graduated, so I'll see how that actually is, and I'll get back to you with that.
Would you much rather have your own business, or work for another business? That you're out of school.
I would never want to work for another person. I want to be the boss of myself. I would never want to work for another person, because I already know that comes with disadvantages. I already know that. Like, I don't want to have somebody bossing me around. It just feels like I'm back to being a slave, being told what to do, being on somebody else's clock. I just can't do that. For a time that I have to do it, I'll have to accept it, but I will try my best to get out of that as fast as possible. I'll never want to work for another person, especially not a white man.
Yeah, he's like keeping it 100% real. Yo, so just one more question, right? You had a solution. What solutions would you offer? Matter of fact, I have two more questions left. As a Black person, do you feel safe around other Black people?
It's sad to say it, but there are times where I don't. It's times where I don't. Every time I'm learning about something bad happening, I always see a picture of Black men or Black females, mostly Black men. I don't really see too much white people getting into criminal stuff, breaking the laws and stuff. I always see the Black people doing it. So when I'm around them, it's just like, dang, are these people the criminals too? So it just makes me feel like uncomfortable around them. But I try my best to not look at them that way, and I'll see past the badness in people. I always try to see the best in people, but I just feel like the image that they put in my head just makes it seem like these people are always bad, and they want me to think that these people are bad. But the people that I know, they aren't really bad people. But it kind of does affect it. The image that they put in my head, it kind of does affect it a lot. It makes me feel uncomfortable a lot of times, especially when I'm in like areas. I know areas that I can't go into. So I just sometimes I feel like when I'm around a group of people that's not Black, I feel more safer. I feel like I'm empowered. I feel like I'm in control. But I don't think I should feel that way. I'm trying to look past that and try to find other solutions to get around that. But the image that they put in my head really messed me up.
Are Black people misrepresented here in America?
Yes, 100%. Yes, they are. Even just going into stores, people thinking, oh, you're gonna pick something up, you're gonna rob them, you're gonna steal something from the store. Like, nah, they just look at us differently. They don't really know the true truth about us. They just know what the bad. Like, there's bad and there's good, but you only see the bad parts of them. You don't see the bad parts. You don't see the good in people. They don't really show that. They don't show that on TV. They don't show that on the news. If you turn on the news right now, you'll probably see Black people getting in trouble, Black people getting in jail, but they don't really show too much white. They kind of try to avoid it. But I feel like
why? Why do they try to avoid that?
Because they don't want you to look at them like they're the bad people. They want you to look at us. Because I feel like if we were to all get together and we were to start our own thing and start our own business and come together and not separate from each other, we will be the superior people. Like, we will really overcome everything. We'll start our own environment. I feel like we don't even need the white race to be in here to be successful. We can really do all this ourselves. But since they put this image in our head where they make it seem like, oh, we violent people and we just this and that, we can't really get together. Because you look at each other like we're the enemies when we really can be a group and we can work together and build a stronger empire than what we live in now. But we don't know that because of what they put in our head and what they telling us to do, what they telling us not to do, what we see, it just affects us all. And we don't even realize it, but it is affecting us to this day. It's affecting us a lot.
Wow, that's powerful. That's powerful. You know, as a matter of fact, you talked about building a black empire. They did that right after slavery. Black people, they built all black neighborhoods throughout the whole country. You know what I'm saying? You had the most famous one, which was in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street.
Yeah, I heard about that.
You had another one, Rosewood, that's in Florida. Wilmington. You had Durham, that's another black neighborhood here in Georgia. You had Lanier, Lake Lanier. That was, you know, that lake right there was an all black neighborhood. And after it was destroyed, what did they do? They built a dam around it and covered it with water. It's a black city underneath that. And it's just crazy because every year white people go out there to swim, things like that, and go fishing. They go out in the lake and they drown. Not one white person survives. I wonder why that is. But then you have up there in New York, you have Stuyvesant. Central Park, the Central Park area in New York, up there as well. So, yeah, black people built black neighborhoods throughout the whole country, and we never enslaved or looked to conquer anyone. This is right after slavery. Right after we were so-called emancipated, we built black neighborhoods. We looked to build the empire, like you said, but then it was destroyed. Every single one of them was destroyed by the white racists, and they got the help and the assistance from the U.S. government. The first bomb dropped here on U.S. soil was dropped by the U.S. government on their own citizens. You know, so we have tried to build, but it just so happened that if you don't own and control the land, if you don't own and control the resources, it's very hard to try to get around a government that was designed to keep you as an underclass. You know, so but yeah, man, that's basically that, man. I would ask you, what do you think would be some solutions that you would give to young people such as yourself, or teenagers, advice or solutions that you would give to teenagers or young folks such as yourself about the school system and about learning about themselves or learning about the history, whatever the case may be, family life, whatever the case may be. What advice would you give or would you recommend?
One thing I would say is, you can go to school. It's okay to go to school. It's okay to learn that stuff, but just don't stop at school. Like, there's other knowledge and other stuff you can learn outside of school. So don't be afraid to go seek out that other knowledge. Make sure you know your history too, because if you don't know your full history, and if you believe everything that you're told to believe, you're not gonna know the full truth, and you ain't gonna sugarcoat stuff, and it's gonna change the way you live. It really affect you a lot. So one thing I just say is just make sure you look out for other stuff. Try to read books. Make sure you look into books. Read books. Make sure you find other things, other knowledge.
You said read books, not like electronic books or anything like that?
I wouldn't say electronic books, because things could be changed around. Books can be changed around, but most stuff you can find more facts inside of books. It's harder to change around what people wrote, and it's easier to change what you see online. And don't believe everything you see on social media. Actually find things out for yourself. Don't just believe what you taught. Actually see things to believe it. Don't just go off what you hear. And don't be afraid to read books, like I said.
Let me ask you this, bro. So what role does the media play in the misrepresentation of black people, as far as music, movies, magazines, billboards? What role does media play in your eyes, and how has that played down through time, especially in school?
Media has played a major role. Media changes everything. Everything, especially the people that you look up to. Like, for example, let's just say I looked up to a rapper, and he was on media. He shows all this money. He shows all these fancy cars. I feel like I have to be like him. So it makes me feel like it makes me focus more on myself and want to be like another person. It makes me focus more on him and not want to be more of myself. So it changes that, and whatever he's doing, he can be doing something wrong, but since I look up to him, I'm thinking that's the right thing. And since I'm seeing it more on the media and everybody else is doing it, I'm making it seem like it's okay. And since once you see a majority of people doing something, it starts to like, especially if that something is wrong, it starts to like change your mind, change your perception on that, and you see it differently. It makes it seem like things are right. And media is just changing a lot. Especially like these new apps like Instagram, TikTok, you learn a lot of new stuff. It's changing a lot. And it kind of messes up our image a little bit, but it helps less than it messes it up. Wait, no, I'm gonna rephrase that.
How do you feel like these social media platforms, how do you feel like they can help the black community, if they could at all? Like, how can we use it for our benefit?
Instead of trying to be like other people, they have to try to come together and be one. Because we will never be great if we all separate and we all looking different upon each other and looking down upon each other. We have to just be one. We have to come together and do something together and just start a group and show people what's right and what's wrong and show people the real truth, instead of trying to flash all these fancy cars, all these trying to be fake. Instead of trying to be fake, try to be real and actually be real with yourself. And I don't know, don't look up to people. I'm not saying, I messed it up. I'm not saying don't look up to people, but don't try to be something that you're not.
Yeah.
Just don't try to be something that you're not. So, let's see. I'm trying to think of like something else.
Why is it that these athletes, why is it that they seem, or not even they seem, that they are afraid to really speak out against inequality or racism on black people? Like the last person you had that really went hard for it was Colin Kaepernick. That's the last person that went hard for it. And actually it cost him his job. He's not going to get another football gig. He's trying to, but he can't get another football gig. Like, he went all in. Why is it like people like LeBron James, Steph Curry, like Shaquille O'Neal, like, why is it that they go pretty light on black issues, but they don't go all the way in? Why is that?
Because they don't want you to know the truth. So what they do to stop them from doing this, they make it all these millions playing basketball and doing all this stuff, trying to live out their careers. But if they say one thing that's the truth and the people don't like that, they start looking at them differently and they can cancel them. It's the cancellation that's really messing it up, because they can't say what they really want. So since they can't say what they really want, they have to limit themselves because they want to keep their money. So the money is really, I think the money is the problem, because if you were to get canceled, you would probably have less money coming in. So without that, I don't know, they can't really speak for themselves. They can't have their own opinion. They have to go based off what other people tell them to say. And I guarantee you those people are being ran by somebody of the other race. And it's not ourselves.
Yeah, most definitely. Like, you have just like Thriller TV, I think it's Triller TV, where they have all those versus battles and these rappers and these R&B singers. At first it was owned by blacks, and then they sold it. They got part ownership, but it's definitely not ran by us anymore.
It's not.
You know, so and you have other situations like that where, you know, where we do have maybe a black CEO or a black owner of a TV network.
But how common is that? That's not common at all. You don't really see too many black TV show owners. You got like Steve Harvey. That's really the only person I can name. Steve Harvey, Oprah. But like, they don't really, they don't go hard. Yeah, you can't,
they don't really go all the way in. Yeah,
because they trying to stay limited. What they say, they can't really voice their own opinions. We don't really have a voice because we're limited. Because what we say, that can really affect our lives. It can change what we're doing, and it can ruin our careers, which I don't think should be an issue. Well, not an issue. I don't think it should be a thing. It shouldn't exist at all. Why can't we have our own voice? Why can't we say what we want? I just don't think that's right. It shouldn't be how things are.
Yeah, it's crazy because a lot of the times you have like someone like Carter G. Woodson who came up with Black History Month. First it was Black History Week, then it was Black History Month. Carter G. Woodson would say that these are black people disguised. These are white people disguised as black people. They are black on the outside, but white on the inside. They would never speak up for the interests of black folks. They only betray that image. celebrities in fear? Why is it that the celebrities, athletes, why don't they join the fight all the way in, just like Muhammad Ali did, Colin Kaepernick? It cost them their careers. It affected their careers, and it had an effect on their careers. Why is it that we don't see athletes out here today, powerful athletes such as LeBron James and Steph Curry, like they go pretty light, you know, Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley, these are black athletes who have the platforms and they go pretty light. Why is it that they don't want to go heavy on black issues?
The reason is they're afraid to. You can't, okay, ever since the beginning of time, since slavery, you know, we've been built off fear. We've been treated like differently because they've had guns, they had other stuff to approve us, put us down upon ourselves. So like that fear goes on with us. Like you said earlier, we were talking about we have slave syndrome, something like that?
Yeah,
okay.
Post-traumatic slave syndrome.
Post-traumatic slave syndrome, okay. So since we have that, I feel like that affects us a lot because we don't want to speak up for ourselves and we're afraid to go out our way to prove people wrong because we just trapped in this world where we feel that if we were to say this, we were to speak our mind, then something will happen to us or we'll be canceled and money will stop, which is a lot of people want money. Money is really, I feel like money is the problem. Money affects a lot of everything. So if in order for them to keep that money and keep themselves successful, they try to keep their words limited. They don't really say what they want to say, and because it's just the fear. Fear ruins everything. If it wasn't for the fear, then all of us will really get together and we'll have what we want. We'll get everything we want. We'll build what we want. We'll have our own empire. But since we're afraid, we have to stand up for ourselves. Since we're afraid, we can't do what we really should be doing, which is standing up for ourselves. And that's just going to affect us until we get over that fear. We need to be able to have faith in ourselves and believe in our culture and come together as one and release that fear to become great. And that will change the whole world. Until we do that, we'll still keep living in this trap society and we won't be able to get out of it. So fear and money is the main problem. Get rid of that, we can find a solution to become better people.
Are black people great?
They can be, but they limit themselves. Once you get over that limit, we need to learn to overcome that limit, become better, look at ourselves as great people because we can be great. But since we look down upon ourselves and we're taught that we're not as great as we should be, that we can't be our full potential. We'll never be at our full potential if somebody's telling us we can't do this or we're limited to this and that. We can never be great if we're doing that. How can you be a perfect person if somebody's telling you that you're imperfect? You can't do that. So once you join to block that other stuff out, come together, do what you really want and do what you should be doing, and ignore the hate and all the other people putting you down, we'll be great. So we can be great. To answer your question, we can be, but we limit ourselves. We can be great.
Wow. No Compromise Media, y'all.